You know that feeling, right? You're walking through a city, it's packed with buildings, but it just feels empty. Like there's no room for actual life, No place to just stop and be. Well, we're going to dive right into that paradox. We'll be using the ideas from a book called Between Exhaustion and Possibility as our guide. It's a really amazing way to understand why our cities can feel so draining and, maybe more importantly, where we can find those little glimmers of hope. So, the book kicks off with this really heavy quote from the philosopher Giorgio Agamben, and it sets the stage perfectly. What he's saying is that the problems we feel in our cities, the alienation, the total lack of real public space, these aren't just one-off mistakes. No, they've become the new normal. So common that we've kind of just started to accept them as the way things are. All right, so what does that even mean? A city that's full but feels empty? Well, the book argues it all boils down to one really critical distinction. And here it is, the core of the problem. It's building versus space. See, our cities, they've become factories for buildings. It's all about quantity, profit, making a transaction happen. But while we've been busy building, we've been losing space. And space isn't just, square meters. It's about quality. It's about experience, connection, that feeling of belonging. Our cities are absolutely stuffed with the first one, but they're starving for the second. To really get at this feeling, the author uses this incredibly powerful Farsi word, farsoodagi. We can translate it as exhaustion, but it's so much more than that. This isn't about, a building that's falling apart or old pipes. No, this is a social and spiritual weariness. It's that feeling you get when all the life, all the meaning has just been sucked out of the public square by these relentless economic and political forces. And look, this exhaustion, it's not some abstract academic idea, right? It's literally baked into the concrete and glass around us. You feel it. You feel it when you walk past those fortress-like buildings that are totally sealed off from the street. You feel it on those huge, wide sidewalks with zero shade, making it a nightmare to walk anywhere in the summer. And you definitely feel it in those so-called public squares that are really just giant empty slabs of concrete with not a single place to sit down. Okay, so why? Why is this happening? The book points to something it calls the spectacle trap. And what's that? It's our obsession with designing cities to be looked at instead of actually lived in. Now, the book gets really specific. It breaks down 10 major projects in Tehran, and this gives you a great feel for its critical method. For every single project, it's asking these tough questions, like, what happened to the original idea here? How did memory lose out to money? Is this place really for people, or is it just for show? Let's dive into a few of these case studies. And here's a key term we need to understand these failures: the spectacular object. Basically, it's a building that's designed to be an image first and a place second. It's made to look great on Instagram, to be admired from afar. But the huge problem with that is that the image becomes more important than the actual real-life human experience of being in and around. A really tragic example of this is the rebuilt Plasko Tower in Tehran. The original tower, an icon, collapsed in this horrible fire, a huge civic trauma. So its reconstruction, it became this massive battle between memory and money. And guess what won? Instead of creating a space that could help heal that deep wound, what they built was basically a commercial bandage, just slapping it over the memory to get back to business. Then you've got the Bamland Shopping Center. This is a classic spectacular object. It's designed to look like this beautiful open public space right on a lake. But when you get there, you realize it's a pseudo-public space. It's completely engineered for one thing: consumption. Every little detail is crafted to be photogenic, to look good on your feed. But real, spontaneous, messy public life? Nope, can't find it anywhere. And our last example, the Azadi Cinema, shows a totally different kind of failure. This one is all about the heartbreaking gap between a brilliant idea and a compromised reality. The original design was amazing, so innovative, all about creating this dynamic public experience. But then, reality hits. Budget cuts, regulations, bureaucracy, All of it just chipped away at the vision until the final building was just a shadow of what it was supposed to be. A compressed, much less exciting version of that great idea. Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom, I promise. Because after diagnosing the problem, the book completely flips the script. Amidst all this exhaustion, it finds these powerful examples of what it calls an architecture of possibility. These are the projects that actually get it right, that create genuine spaces for people. So what's the secret sauce? What makes a space truly successful? Well, here's the thing. It's not about miracles or giant budgets or some kind of flashy, over-the-top design. It's actually much simpler. It's about a fundamental shift in priorities. It's about designing for people first. That's it. Success happens when you create places for pause, for connection, for real, messy human experience. Okay, check out the Tabiat Bridge in Tehran. It is the perfect example. Think about it. Most bridges are just for getting from point A to point B, right? They're for passage. This one is designed for pause. It connects two parks, sure, but it's really a destination all on its own. It's got these multiple levels, all these different little spots that invite you to just hang out, to linger. The human experience isn't an afterthought. It's the entire point of the design. Artist Park shows us another way to do it. This place used to be a military compound, but it was reclaimed and totally transformed into this amazing cultural hub for the public. And what's so great is that they didn't just bulldoze the past. They respected the history of the site and wove it together with nature, with art, with places for people to just be together. And in doing that, they created this really unique identity that actually serves the neighborhood as it is today. So why do these places feel so different, so special? To explain it, the author brings in another cool concept, this time from the philosopher Michel Foucault, heterotopia. Don't let the word scare you. All it means is a real place, like a park or a museum or a library, that kind of exists outside the normal grinding rules of the city. These places are like mirrors. They challenge the city's usual exhausting routine, and they prove to us that, hey, another way of living together is actually possible. All right, so what does this all mean for you in your city? This is the most powerful part. This whole framework, it isn't just about Tehran, not at all. Think of it as a toolkit. A set of glasses you can put on to start reading and understanding your own city in a whole new way. And you can start right now, just by asking some really simple questions. Seriously, next time you're in a public square or a park, just stop and ask yourself, 1, where are the benches? Can I actually rest here? 2, why is there no shade? Does this place give a damn about my comfort? 3, who is this actually for? Is it for people or is it for profit? And the biggest one of all, 4, how does it make me feel? Does it feel welcoming, or does it feel like it's trying to push me away? Because in the end, every single missing bench, every shadeless sidewalk, every building that feels like a fortress, it's telling a story. It's a story about what we value as a society. The spaces we build are, quite literally, a reflection of who we are. Your city is speaking to you all the time. The only question is, are you listening?